Hello, smart viewers. Welcome to Face with me, William. And as usual, on every episode, I'm gonna discuss about variously interesting topics. And also for this episode, I'm gonna discuss about more on the creativity. Yeah. So it's about like how to keep up with the creative industry in every kind of field. Yeah, basically not just in the creative field. Yeah. And here are some of the habits that you can have to make it easy to come up with great ideas. So for the first habit that you gonna have is to consider what you consume. So the more things we have to connect, the better our ideas will become. So this means the quality of things we consume is a crucial factor in our ability to come up with good ideas. And the second one is that you share what you consume. So after maybe reading an interesting article or talk to somebody about it and write about it in the blog post. In doing so, we get exponentially more benefit out of it. And the next habit that you're gonna have is to think macro. So one of the simplest ways to improve our idea generation is to think about things we encounter in a macro sense. So think big, yeah. And the last one is that you capture ideas when they come. So training ourselves to come up with better ideas isn't just about preparing for our next brainstorm session, but recognize instead that ideas constantly come to us and to get in the habit of acknowledging and capturing them right at the moment. Yeah. So that was examples of habits that you're gonna have to come up with great ideas. And for the next segment, I'm gonna invite a guest on my special guest for today's episode, and it's related to creative industry, how to keep up with the creative world. Yeah. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned on Face to Face. Hello, smart viewers. Welcome back to Face with me, William. And as I promised on the previous segment, I'm going to invite my special guest for today's episode. And it's involved in creative production. So, hello to Alan Tan. Hi, hello, Alan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting.
If you can share your latest activities related to, creative industry, creative production.
Okay. Well, we just wrap up some events and productions for YSL Beauty, the body shop, and I think the latest one is Mango.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it was quite a hectic month, but we're gonna make it.
So you're currently in the production, yeah.
Yeah.
And we can also share about how you got interested in creative production, the creative industry, how you got interested in that specific business.
Well, actually, just because I did it accidentally.
Oh.
Like, yeah, seriously. I mean, like, it's all started with my journey as a photographer. So at first, I saw a friend having a camera, had a cameras, and I played with it. And turns out taking picture is fun.
Oh.
So from there, I continuously taking picture until one day, like, hey, you take quite nice for pictures. So how about working like for a project, like maybe taking pictures of me in the gigs or like something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then like, oh, okay, sure. And that's how I got my first job. And from then, I developed Pseudo because I want to start my own company. I was working with a company as a freelance, and I think this is the right time to start a business.
Oh yeah, and as you mentioned before, it's Pseudo, and how you come up with the name Pseudo, like Pseudo?
Yeah. Well, actually, I just choose Pseudo because it sounds catchy. And this digital production, everything that is very original is what it matters. Authenticity is the number one. So when I choose the name Pseudo, the meaning itself is fake, right? So it's very, I just think it's very catchy and very funny because we're doing something that is very authentic, very original. You produce your own work, but your name is fake. Which is like, okay, I want people to be like, oh, wow, the name is fake. So that's how it started. And I recently revamped it to Pseudo Asia because when I build something, I always hope it will grow big, and maybe one day when we grow big, we always remember where we came from, which is from Asia. So that's how it named Pseudo Asia.
And, can you explain like what are the activities related to creative contents or creative production? Like it's ranging from audiovisual or something.
Okay, so from Pseudo itself. Okay, Pseudo itself has a lot of services. Our services range from small to big production, even from the as basic as producing a logo and make your business card. So that's how far we can go. And even from that, you want to make something big, you want to make a campaign, you want to create an event, and we can help you to do that. So basically, our service, as long as it's related to digital, then we can do it.
And like how you like build relations with your clients and how to kind of like bring engagement to clients.
Okay, so usually when a client approach me, then I'm very welcome with it. So some clients found me through social media, and then like we keep in touch from there. And when we're doing our job, we always give our best. So, and I think that's one point they like us about. So maybe from then we follow each other through social media, and that's how we build it, I guess.
So you're like consisted of a team, like how you recruit your team members?
Me.
Yeah, like it's a collaborative work, right?
Right.
Yeah, maybe you can share like how you maybe you adjust certain team member according to specific jobs or something.
Right. Yeah, so basically our team has different kind of specialties. So again, back on the demand or the project, so like what you say, I adjust which team members are allocated to this project and this project. But as the founder itself, I manage most of my projects.
So, so it's also about managing like the right person at the right place.
Right, exactly. Because I don't want people that is not specializing in doing, for example, like he's a photographer, his main job is taking pictures. I don't want to make him to design a logo because that's not his specialties. So we got our own people to do that.
And how you got
very segmented.
Basically how you like how you kind of like analyze and try to recruit new members? Is it like based on what you research on social media, or you like in just conventional way?
Okay, so how do I find out whether they are qualified to do it or not? So basically, of course I will take a look at their portfolios. Looking about how their experience in producing something, or how many years they've been doing this, and the results. So that's how I decided which one is more, suitable for this and this.
And maybe you can share about like the challenges involved in creative industry, because it's like it's you are demanded to be creative all the time. Like you try to think something new. When it's it's a recycling of materials or different projects. Maybe you can kind of like share about how to keep being creative.
Okay. So the challenge for us is today everyone is very familiar with digital production. They can be their own photographer, they can be their own creative. So one of the challenges for us to maintain certain kind of standards, so people will still look for us because what we're doing is the relevant one. So that is one of the challenge. And I also found it like you also have to be very good in managing the items that you have. For example, like you're using stuff like this, and you have to think about whether this stuff can, before you purchase this stuff, whether you have to think whether it can be used for the next project or not. So bootstrapping, since I bootstrapping this company by myself,
Oh, yeah.
I also feel like I have to pay attention with it. So that's one of my biggest challenge.
Oh yeah, so managing the budget also.
Right,
Okay.
right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so the conversation is getting interesting, but we're gonna have to take a little break. So stay tuned on Face to Face. Hello, smart viewers. Welcome back to Face with me, William, and my special guest for today's episode, Alan. And we're continuing our discussion about, how to keep up with the creative industry and how to, be more creative and try to handling requests from clients. And we have some photos photos of your projects, that we can discuss. Maybe we can take a look. Maybe we can share about this activity.
Okay, so this was taken in Dior event.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Dior was launching their new product, which is like Dior Addict Black Core Plum. So I met this friend of mine, which is DJ Steffi. She's a very good DJ that playing tech and deep house music especially. So yeah, I just asked my friend like, hey, would you want to take a picture of me and her in the event? But I don't want it to be just like an ordinary picture. So I wanted to, do your own signature. So that's what happened.
Oh, so they're like, that's your signature, yeah? So like, it's kind of like different gradient colors. Yeah?
Oh,
that
was just because the event have such kind of like things.
Yeah,
so that's actually not my signature, but my friend's signature, Anjar Armansyah.
Oh,
which is like a very good event photographer, I think.
And here's another photos of your activity.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you can share about this photo.
Okay, so this is one of my test shoot with my favorite muse, Ines. So I like to experimenting like projects with makeup artists and with designers. I like to create something and experimenting with things like if I combine such a strong model with bold, persona, and I wanted to have like, we combine it with dress with flowers and what will happen. So what happened there was I was helped by my friend, a stylist Melissa Afandi, and got the dress from Oviana Rabella. So we just like preparing the shoot and just shoot it. That's what happened.
Oh, so it's sort of like more
experiments.
More experience. You try to like more of letting go, like keep going with the flows.
Yes. I'm a kind of person like that because when we're experimenting something, we just don't hold with what kind of conclusion we will get, because we do it first and then we see what the result we can get later.
And the next photo, you can share about this photo.
Okay, so this was my first public speaking actually related to photography. So I think it happened around November 2015. I was in they want us to speak in worldwide Insta Meet. The theme is Java Connect, I think. So we did it in Bandung. They want me to be like one of the panels there. So I sit down with these amazing people like Miranti Kamal as the host, and then like the founder of iPhone Asia, Aris Lukman, the one with glasses in the corner, and the top journalist photographer Dita Alangkara, and Neeraj Narayan from Nike. So it was like, I just feel, wow, this is so cool. I mean, like I gotta speak to a lot of people that has a lot of interest in photography. But back then I was speaking about fashion photography. So yeah, it was great.
So you're more like concerned, like focusing more on fashion photography back then, or is it now, or
well,
like?
Yeah, I was more focused on fashion back then.
Oh,
But now I started to open, broader segment, because Pseudo itself not only it's not only about me, but it's like, how do you achieve such kind of result without keeping yourself to one box?
oh yeah. So
Yeah.
it's also about like creative industry. It's about
Right.
like keep evolving and
Right,
try to
right,
adjust with what the
Right.
client wants.
Right.
Yeah. And maybe you can share also about your memorable moments. Maybe like one of memorable projects that you got.
Okay, so right after I built this company, so our first client are actually coming from social media.
Oh yeah.
They discover us through Instagram from the hashtag. So I was like, wow, I never know that you can really make something out of social media. So because back then I was just like adding hashtag, I just put something that people might tag, might type in the Instagram when they want to find something, and turns out our first client was from Instagram.
Yeah.
Found us from Instagram. So I was like, ooh, okay.
The power of social media.
Power of social media is very surprising. Which is, at first I cannot believe it until I found a person like, okay, we had a meeting then. But it's true, it's happening. So I was like,
oh, so it's actually your like more on the first project.
yeah, it's Pseudo first project.
Oh,
which is very memorable for me.
And also maybe you can share the tips on how to kind of like make content more original and has its own signature in it. Like when you're publishing contents or materials from clients, like, oh, that's Pseudo. Like what kind of tips or treatment that you gave to certain materials?
Okay, so the first thing that we can do is probably we have to stay consistent, so you can see the pattern. Oh, this is the work of Pseudo. So, sorry, will you repeat again?
Like how to try to keep the contents, the originality, and try to bring up the signature so that people can recognize, oh, that's Pseudo work.
Okay. So I think the first thing that you can do is, when you want to achieve something original, you have to be yourself in creating something. Try your best to, because I believe there is nothing much original left in this world, because everyone must already create something. Exactly. So the thing that you can do is if you have a reference, or if they want you to do something, you do it based on your style. So achieving your first style itself is one of the important steps. So when you already have such characters, then you can it is something that is intangible. You can feel it. This is not Pseudo.
Oh.
And of course, because Pseudo itself has, I have some colleagues that handling different projects. So each of the colleague itself has different character. Because again, back to their experience, back on their style, how they develop their style. So basically, it's it's different. And what I did as a creative writer is I managed which one is more suitable to the brand itself. Because each brand have their own value, and what we can do is we try our best to achieve something that is similar or without diminishing their value.
Oh, yeah. But then and also talk about like how you execute ideas to become, real or physically be seen. Maybe you can share about that.
The first thing is, when we want to create something, I always set a mood board. Like, oh, I want to create a work, with this kind of feel, with this kind of mood, with this kind of item, this kind of colors. You prepare it well, and then you found all the supporting items you need. You set the equipment you need. Like if it's a big production, you set the budget, you set the people, who's going to do this, who's in charge in this, and then you set a timeline. You want to start this project by this date, and you want to finish by this date. revision, which date, something like that. And when it's finished, then you just do it, execute it well.
Oh, and also, maybe you can share like some of the tips and tricks on for smart viewers who want to be involved in creative industry. Yeah? Maybe you can share one of the tips or several tips.
Okay, so I always believe that if you want to do something, you have to be, you have to do it because you like it, not just do it because you want to follow the trend. Because, you know, to stay in the industry longer, you have to be consistent with what you do. So, yeah, that's the number one. And the second one is you have to be very strict to yourself, because in creating a company, it is not just like you cook. Like you prepare this, and this, and then you make this happen. There are a lot of factors that you have to consider from external and the internal itself. So yeah, you have to be consistent with what you're doing, and you have to be yourself in every single project you do. And don't forget, if you want to be in the creative, always try your best to deliver the project.
Oh yeah, okay. So thank you so much, Alan, for sharing. Hope that smart viewers want to, you know, involve in creative industry and in every kind of field of profession can be inspired by that.
I hope so.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and we've come to the end of the show. Be sure to check out another episode of Face to Face at the same day and time. Until then, I'm William Grinaldi. Say bye bye.